Pat Robertson, that idiot is on the loose again. And he's saying some pretty outrageous things. We got a video here, and we'll play that for you here right now.
A close friend of mine believes that the person God wants her to marry is her first cousin. They are both committed Christians, and they even have received several prophetic words in favor of their union. Both families support it. There is a clear, powerful call of the Lord on both of their lives. What do you think?
Kissing cousin, hey, there's nothing. I mean, I don't know anything the Bible says a problem about marrying first cousin. Now look, here's the deal. If there are recessive genes and there are something in the family that would come out, if those two recessive genes come together, they might wind up with children that got some kind of disability. Other than that, there's no problem. There's nothing in the Bible that says you can't marry your first cousin. And if here you say everybody's in favor of it, all right, go for it. But I would check the genetics. Get some geneticist to check the DNA to see if there's something.
Just to be sure that
Just to be
not
sure. You don't want to
something.
have some Mongoloid child, or I shouldn't say Mongoloid, whatever.
Well, children with diseases sometimes
Disease,
that you don't find out until after
there are all kinds of latent genes that don't show up unless they're too latent come together, and then you have a problem.
Wow, Pat Robertson giving scientific advice. Wow. I did look up some stuff on here. I only have 3 major points on this. I did look it up in the Bible. Apparently he's right. Nothing in the Bible really says cousins can't get married. In fact, there's a lot of examples in the Bible where people who were religious got married to their first cousins. But I don't remember if they said that they were first cousins. They just said they were cousins, which could be, they could have been second cousins or third cousins or whatever. But in a lot of states, it's actually illegal to marry your first cousin. Second point here is, like I said, Pat was talking science. If God really supposedly exists, then why would you even worry about science, Pat? Really? And then he goes on to saying a Mongoloid child. This part was the most offensive part. I mean, yeah, the cousin thing, yeah, it was a little gross. But, you know, there's an old saying, incest is best, put your cousin to the test. I mean, at least in his mind it was anyway.
Is that what they say in Wisconsin?
Yes. We got nothing.
Oh, okay.
What do you think we do in the wintertime out here? We got to keep warm somehow. No, anyway, I'm going to go back to the Mongoloid child here. Now, basically, this is a slur, which goes back to people who have Down syndrome, because when the kids are born with Down syndrome, they kind of look like they're Asian to a point. It's also people who have looked like they're Chinese and Mongolian and things like that. That's why they came up with the term Mongoloid. But it's a slur. It's almost a racial slur at worst, actually, not best. But you know, it's terrible. Now, I looked this up. Now, there are state laws regarding marriages between first cousins. Cousin marriage is legal in Alabama, obvious, New Jersey, okay, make your own jokes there, Alaska, New Mexico, California, New York, Colorado, North Carolina, Connecticut, Rhode Island, District of Columbia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, Georgia, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts. Now, there are states where their first cousins are prohibited from getting married. That's Arkansas, Nebraska, Delaware, Nevada, Idaho, New Hampshire, Iowa, North Dakota, Kansas, Ohio, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, South Dakota, Mississippi, Texas. Really? You're prohibited in Texas? Really? Missouri, Washington, Montana, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Now, here's the fun part of this. Now, there are supposed special circumstances where first cousins can get married, and there's like 6 states here that allow that: Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Utah, and Wisconsin. But you can only get married to your first cousin if special circumstances. Now, apparently, the special circumstances are if the first cousin is allowed to get married in these states. In Arizona, if both are 65 years or older and one is unable to reproduce. In Illinois, if both are 50 years old or older, or one is unable to reproduce. In Indiana, they both have to be at least 65 years old. Maine, a couple contains a physician's certificate of genetic counseling. Utah is 65 or older, and both are 55 or older, or one is unable to reproduce. And of course, in Wisconsin, there's a special circumstance. If the woman is 55 years or older, or one is unable to reproduce. Now, there was one special one here. I had to look it up because it was so strange. North Carolina, first cousin marriage is legal. Double cousin marriage is prohibited. I had to look up what is a double cousin thing here. Now, the explanation here is double cousins are formed when two siblings from one family marry two siblings from another family, and both couples have children. For example, Jane and Elizabeth are sisters. Tom and David are unrelated brothers. Jane married Tom, and they have a daughter, Sarah. Elizabeth married David and had a son, George. George and Sarah would be double cousins. It's against the law for Sarah and George to marry, but not in many, but not in all places, as they are first cousins. Don't even ask me to repeat that. I'm still trying.
I was told there will be no math on this test.
It's so weird. I never heard of I've heard, first cousin, second cousin, but the double cousin marriage, that just threw me for a loop, actually. Joe, your thoughts?
I just wanted to go on record that this is what happens when Connie picks all the stories. No, to the Pat Robertson video clip, what I find amazing is he got really excited about kissing cousins.
I know. Did you see that?
He was almost like, "Ooh, kissing cousins!" Like, oh yeah.
We know what kind of porn he's watching at home.
Yes.
And further, he goes on to say there isn't a real problem with this in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And while he may be correct on that, I mean, Pat Robertson, sir, you are an enabler.
Yes, he's a
cousin
fucking enabler.
You listed a whole bunch of states where they had laws against it, and what I noticed was they're the same states that scored very high on the porn watching list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Bible thumping states. Now, if they had to go so far as to put a law on the books prohibiting this, that means there was some kind of issue with it. Mm-hmm. Like, why would Texas ban anything, if they didn't have a problem with it?
Let me tell you something. When I'm not married anymore, but when I went to get my marriage license, when I first got married, the lady asked us if we were related in any way, brother, sister, whatever, and I was like joking, oh yeah, it's like that would be weird, It was just like, you better tell me honestly, or I'm gonna start this down right now, and you're not gonna get a license. Like, whoa, chill out, woman. I was kidding. Who would think of such shit? Apparently, Pat Robertson does, because he's getting all excited about it.
No, Entropy fan in the chat room, he was saying that, he has no problem with it as long as it's consenting adults and they agree not to have kids. That's true.
That's true.
However, it's still creepy, and he even admitted that. He was like, it is still creepy. And yes, it's creepy. There's a reason why we think it's creepy. There's a reason why it's something that is not encouraged and we should look down upon. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just creepy. It's creepy.
It is creepy. Because these are people I can understand.
There's other fish in the sea. You don't need the fish in your same bowl.
If your tree does not fork. Connie, your thoughts.
When you go to the family reunion to meet women, you might be a redneck. I don't understand why. I'm glad that Joe picked up on the fact that kissing cousins. Hey, I'm going, oh my gosh. I just saw this man's porn face. It was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, as I was listening to the video, I'm going, there's something really weird that he says here. Get a geneticist, the GDNA. I'm going, did he just say the GDNA? God damn. I don't know. That would have been wonderful.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand. I know that there have been times in church, but went back when I went to church and we had classes, they would they would explain away things like cousins marrying cousins, because I said, well, back then there wasn't as much mixed DNA, blah blah blah. It was, we're still so close to Eve, who had the genetics for all of humankind in her. She had an uber super womb or something like that. Her eggs were super eggs, and just all of this crap that I was like, oh, okay, I guess that sounds good. I don't know, but speaking more to my ignorance at the time. So yeah, and it was extremely offensive that here, again, Pat Robertson being offensive. It's just that he shocked me with his depth of offensiveness. Mongoloid. I know, in meeting Packard, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that word in forever.
I don't think that's first.
Are you
I think
kidding me?
I think that was actually the kind of. I think I may have heard it a couple times in my lifetime, but I hadn't heard it a whole lot, so I just kind of completely
it fell out of favor when people stopped saying the word retard.
Yeah, well, we kind of say it on this show a little bit once in a while. Yeah,
like you're exactly right, and because it's also racist. It's incredibly awful. So this man, I don't know. Terry Mewson, his co-host, has a lot of explaining to do. I can't imagine at this point in her life that she really needs this job.
Yeah.
And I just think that she's enabling him.
Yeah.
Terry Mewson, stop.
Stop enabling that old fucker.
Please, just.
That's funny that you feel for the people on the show with Robertson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off, but I said it's funny that you feel for the people that are on the show with Pat Robertson. like I've thought that sometimes too. Like you'll see him say something that's completely outrageous, and the camera will cut to them, and they're making this like wincing face, like, what am I doing?
Why are you saying that? Shut up!
I went to college for this.
I went to college. I have to listen to this crap.
I thought this was a good career move. It isn't. It really isn't.